Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a midweek preview, previewing Premier League and Championship games this time around. Feels like a long time since we've done that. But yeah, starting off with West Ham versus Watford, and this is an interesting one. West Ham obviously very nearly embarrassed, but hugely by Kidderminster last time out, and Watford only picking up a draw against Burnley at the weekend. So yeah, I think both teams will come into this one with a point to prove. Roy Hodgson looking for his first win, but yeah, just looking at the respective quality and size, you really expect a West Ham win. And that's what I think will happen. Moving on, Newcastle take on Everton at St James's Park, and this is a really interesting one for me. Newcastle, yeah, obviously they brought in all of those new signings on deadline day, and yeah, then on deadline day and throughout January really, and yeah, they're looking in a much better position. But an Everton side who got a win over Frank Lampard, and I just feel like it will take some time for those new Newcastle signings to settle in, which makes me think we're going to go for an away win here and get Lampard off to a flying start in the Premiership. Moving on to Burnley versus Manchester United, and yeah, both sides here kind of with a point to prove. Burnley drawing with Watford last time out, not a great result at all really, and Manchester United yeah, obviously getting knocked out to Middlesbrough in the cup, which was a really bad result. So yeah, they need a win here, definitely need something to prove, and I think they will get the win. Just Burnley, one win all season, yeah, they just don't really have the quality, do they? Or at least they shouldn't. I'll say 2-0. Moving on then, Norwich take on Crystal Palace at Carrow Road, and yeah, this is a really interesting one. Norwich with 4 wins out of the last 5 on a really great run in all comps, and Palace a 2-0 win last time out. But you know, Norwich are playing really well at the moment, and they're currently set outside the relegation zone, believe it or not, and this is a big opportunity for them to like extend their cap really, and that's exactly what they'll be targeting to do. But yeah, against Palace side it'll be tough. I'll say 1-1. Moving on then, Tottenham take on Southampton at White Hart Lane, and yeah, this is an interesting game. Tottenham really inconsistent at the moment, lost 2, won 3 of the last 5, and Southampton as well really, lost 1, drew 1 and won 1 in the last 3 in all competitions, even though they only scraped past commentary in extra time. So yeah, both sides coming into this one definitely with a point to prove, but yeah, I'd expect Tottenham to get the win here really. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then, Manchester City take on Brentford at the Etihad Stadium, and Manchester City, yeah, what can you say about them? Dropping points last time out in their last game against Southampton, so yeah, they'll be desperate to recover from that, because Liverpool 9 points behind, you know, still got a game in hand. The title race isn't completely done yet, so yeah, they just need to keep racking up the victories. As for Brentford, yeah, I think they'll probably be okay from relegation, but you know, only 8 points, you never really know, so they do need a win here just in case. But yeah, I think City will easily get the win. I'm hopeful thinking for Brentford. Moving on then, Aston Villa take on Leeds at Villa Park, and yeah, this is another really interesting game. Villa haven't played for too long really. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do here, because obviously they're out of the cup. So yeah, how that would have had an effect on them. So yeah, it would be interesting for them to see how they do here. Similar story for Leeds really. But yeah, I can see it's going over wide, but I think Villa will pick up the win. Moving on, Wolves take on Arsenal at Molineux. Wolves, yeah, 1-0 loss to Norwich last time out, but before that, 4 wins on the trot against an Arsenal side that are going for a shaky run of form at the moment, and obviously because they're out of the cup as well, haven't played for a while. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But yeah, I feel like Arsenal, with a break, maybe it's a good time for them to reset, and they really do need to come out fighting, and I think they will do. It will be a close game, but I can see them picking up the win. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on then, Liverpool take on Leicester at Anfield, and Liverpool 3 wins on the trot now. I don't think Mane and Salah will be back for this game, but you never ever know really. And yeah, against the Leicester side, yeah, they're just quite inconsistent, aren't they? You never really know what you're going to get from Leicester, really, do you? This season, yeah. But you'd expect a Liverpool win here, really, wouldn't you? Think just across the pitch, they've got more quality, have a better time of it this season, so I'll say 2-0. Moving on then to the Championship games, and starting off on Tuesday with Coventry taking on Blackpool. And yeah, for me this is an interesting game. Coventry, not the greatest run of form to be honest. 2 losses on the trot in all competitions, but they have been unlucky in both. Against the Blackpool side, who have won 2 of the last 3. But yeah, just looking through the squads, I think Coventry have been kind of unlucky on their recent run of form. So yeah, I think it will be a 1-0 win for Coventry here. I think they just will nick it. Moving on then, Derby take on Hull at Pride Park, and this is a really interesting one. Of course, Derby, their form has slightly tailed off a bit recently, but they still do have that never say die attitude against a Hull side who did get that loss to Preston, except for that really impressive start to the new ownership. So yeah, 2 teams who you feel like could get a result out of this, and I think it will be quite a close game. I'll say 1-1. Moving on, Fulham take on Millwall at Craven Cottage, and for me, Fulham will come into this one full of confidence. Of course they will, even despite that 4-1 defeat to Man City and a 1-1 draw against Blackpool. They're still playing really well, aren't they? Still easily going to go up again, and it's against the Millwall side who, a win and a draw of the last 2, but except for that they've just been poor, and we know what they're Millwall like. They're just so inconsistent. So yeah, Fulham will definitely come into this one feeling confident. I'll say 2-0. Moving on then, Luton take on Barnsley at Kenilworth Road, and Luton are a really, really solid run of form. Won 3 of the last 4 in all comps. Drew the other one, of course. Against the Barnsley side, they've just been unbeaten for days, losing for days really. It's just not getting any better for them, is it really? And it's hard to see it turning around anytime soon. And I'm predicting another comfortable win for Luton here. 2-0 for me, I think I'll go for. Moving on then, Stoke take on Swansea at the Bet365 Stadium. And Stoke, a win and draw in the last 2 games in all comps. Kind of turning it around after a bit of a shaky run of form against the Swansea side, who picks up a really solid win over Blackburn. So they'll come into this one full of confidence. I think it will be a game that's kind of hard to call really, but I feel like Stoke will just have the slight advantage. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on then, Blackburn take on Nottingham Forest at Ewood in the Championship, and for me, Blackburn, they kind of are tailing off from their really, really solid run of form, which is a shame, but it's kind of expected, to be honest. But Forest, you could kind of say the same really with that 2-1 defeat to Cardiff last time out, but it'll be interesting to see how they do react to that here. But I feel like Blackburn with home advantage will probably be able to get the win here. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then, Bournemouth take on Birmingham at the Vitality. And Bournemouth come into this one off the back of that 1-0 win over Barnsley. But still not playing too well really for what you'd expect from the team in their position. They have lost to Hull and Luton, and of course even really beating Barnsley these days an achievement, I'm not so sure. But against the Birmingham side who aren't in great run of form. So for them, Bournemouth, this is a game which really they have to be winning. And I think they will do. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then, Bristol City take on Reading at Ashton Gate. And Bristol City, of course, are suffering that defeat to Blackpool last time out. But, if they want to have a chance of beating a team, then they probably pick Reading right now with the form they're in. Reading or Barnsley, to be fair, but probably Reading looking at their recent run of form. A perfect opportunity for Bristol City to rediscover their form, and also for Reading to find their form. But I just think Reading is so out of form. Paunovic is still the manager. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then, to another big game at the bottom, Cardiff versus Nottingham Forest. Cardiff with a really solid week, you could kind of say, getting away from it now. 7 points ahead of Reading, 9 ahead of Peterborough. So if they just come out of this one unbeaten, you say it's a good result for them. But for Peterborough, they kind of do need to take advantage of Reading's really, really bad form, which they haven't done so far, and we're really, really gutted with that one. I'm going to say 2-0 to Cardiff. I just feel like they do have more quality and a good week. Moving on then, Preston take on Huddersfield at Deepdale. And Ryan Lowe, of course, getting a really, really solid win over Hull, a tough place to go recently. And Huddersfield picking up a 1-0 win over Barnsley in the Cup. So both teams are coming into this one full of confidence. Both teams on a really good run of form and looking good at the moment. It'll be interesting to see which way this goes. It does feel like a game that could go either way, and I'm going to score it. Say it'll be 1-1. Moving on then, QPR versus Middlesbrough in a game that I'm really looking forward to, and yeah, it should be a thriller, this one. QPR on a solid run of form at the moment, did lose to Peterborough, kind of against a runner playing the FA Cup, against the Middlesbrough side that will just be full of confidence after that 2-1 away win at Manchester United. I count penalty as a goal, but 1-1 and penalty win away at Man United. But yeah, I can kind of feel like QPR saying crashing Borough back down to earth here. I'm going to say 1-1, just with the run of championship form there on. Moving on then, Sheffield United take on West Brom at Bramall Lane, and yeah, this is a really interesting one. Sheffield United 3 wins on the trot now after kind of taking a bit of time to recover from their COVID outbreak they had around Christmas against the West Brom side on awful form. But of course, Steve Bruce is their new manager. I mean, personally, not my choice, but I don't think he'll do a dreadful job there. It'll be interesting to see where it goes, but I think he will need time to really adapt here. But yeah, I'm going to say 1-1. I think it could go either way, this one. But anyway, guys, that's it for you. Thanks very much for watching. So like, share, subscribe, no thoughts, comments, damage, follow us as things get for daily football news, and subscribe to the channel on the screen, and that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.